Happy Wednesday, party people. This is KIKI Corner. We're glad that you're joining us. We are broadcasting this video here on X across all my other social profiles. And most importantly, we have a live X space. For everyone in the room, our goal is to do these weekly AMAs. There's so many things that happen in a week. And so we will cover some different questions that have been asked. We'll take questions from the audience and from our guests. We have 3 of our 4 house leaders here with us. And one of the house leaders, Nettie, they are busy with an event, which is wonderful, right? Obviously, there's things that we do. And one of those things is being at IRL events. But here we are together. So very happy to always be by your side. Todor, how are you? How's Europe? Catch us up. What's going on?
It's all good, man. Finally, we're getting some sunshine here. As you can see on the camera, this is the first sunshine we've had in a long, long time. It's been dark and rainy here in Bulgaria. But yeah, finally, it's. I hope that the good weather is contagious and it catches the market and turns it all green like the trees are turning right now. Everything, the leaves are coming in and like everything is getting greener and greener around me. All I need to see is those green candles on my screen as well as outside, and I'll be rocking and rolling, man.
So, Mr. Cool, Xiao, so glad to have you here with us again. For those that may not know who you are, maybe you guys could give a little background in the communities that you represent. And we're happy to spend some time talking today about growing together, partnerships, community, and anything else that comes up.
I guess I'll go for it then. Hey, I'm Mr. Cool. I just told him about that nickname that people call me before this, and it kind of caught me off guard. I'm Zero Cool. I work with several different projects: Altura, Project Gajera, also known as Jirasan, as well as Kabu. So I got my hands on a little bit of everything because I'm just one of those guys who just wants the space to be successful, and that's why I'm here with KIKI, and that's why I'm here with you guys. Xiao, take it, buddy.
So I'm trying not to doing a new setup. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Yep.
Okay. So real quickly, yeah, I'm the Shaolin. I am over with Mycelium, focusing on IP. But yeah, no, I'm just, someone who is a big advocate of, KIKI, the brand, and, what they're building. So I'm glad to be here. I've been in the space since 2021. Just living it up and happy to share and get into it as we go into questions and obviously the format of what we have ready for the show today.
Awesome.
Shao, Ian, could you give me just 1 second, man? Because I want to tell Shao that I've been working on shit. I don't know if that's going to be visible on this fucking camera. Oh, shit, it's not. Anyway, I've been working. I wanted to show you because it looks like super scientific, bro. It looks like I've been drawing these lines and connecting the dots here about what an IP coin should actually mean to people. And I think we're actually starting a completely new movement, something that is going to revolutionize how people view IP and the synergy between Web 2 and Web 3 in the IP aspect of it. And I will be ready with this next week, and I want to personally show it first to you guys before we blow it out and show it to the whole community. But I don't know. I wanted to show you this because it makes me look very smart. Like it literally looks like what's his name, the beautiful mind dude with all his formulas and shit. This is what this actually looks like. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna shine at this AMA, but shit, the camera's not good enough. But anyway, I'll show it to you soon. Thank you.
Paul, thanks for coming up on stage. I know that you and I exchanged a couple messages on X. Glad to have you here. There's lots of things for us to discuss the next hour, but you're here right now. So happy to have you unmute yourself. And you said you had some questions, and, we're a transparent group of people, do our best to answer things that you're wondering about. And Raman, Carl, and the rest of the folks that represent our houses, I'll be able to get to you in just a moment. But I want to respect our friend Pulse, who hosted us 3 times on Mario Nafal's spaces, and also obviously has a lot of influence, and I think maybe has some thoughts and things to say about some of the recent posts that our founder and chief inspiration officer Coco Rowe has posted recently. So Paul, if you want to jump off and we can have a little conversation, you're welcome to. If now's not the right time, then stay on mute and I'll move on to the next thing.
No, I'd be happy to unmute and tell you guys how much I appreciate you having me up here. But what I would like to do, Ian, is give you a little information. We've met on the Mario show a couple of times, but some of the people in the audience know that I actually lead the sub-DAO at K9 Finance. I worked with Bad Idea for over the last year. My knowledge of the Shibarium ecosystem and Shiba Inu is so much deeper than I have ever let on to you. And I am so here for the discussion today, but I don't want to get into any of it yet. I'd rather hear what you guys have to say until my questions come up.
Okay, well, thanks for the background. I wasn't familiar with how significant your involvement in the SHIB ecosystem is. SHIB has over 1.5 million holders. Sometimes I've heard it's over 4 million. I'm not sure if that's a centralized exchange, decentralized exchange comparison, but I do know that recently I read more people hold SHIB longer than any other token. So 74% of people hold Ethereum and Bitcoin for over a year. 76% hold SHIB for over a year. I've been a investor and holder in SHIB and a community member for many, many, many years. I love that they created their own IP. I love their narrative. We're the Doge killer. I had a ton of respect for what Ryoshi did when he was the decentralized leader. Obviously, it's easy to respect a lot of the things that Shai did while he was the primary leader. I think he publicly stepped down to be the ambassador, do some other things. And there's a lot of leaders, right? Sometimes with you're such a decentralized community, it can be focused on a person, but reality is it's dozens, hundreds, even thousands of people like Pulse that are making these things happen, that are promoting things. And that's what we want also for KIKI. So we will dive into some of those things, but Pulse, just to be honest, the likelihood of us bringing things up just at random is low. So when you have a question you want to ask, please unmute yourself and let's just have the conversation. We're an open book. Yep.
I'm getting ready to hop in the car right now, so give me like 10, 15 to listen in, and when I get where I'm at, I'll jump in.
Perfect. Let me introduce our house leaders, and then Mr. Cool and Shao, I'll come back to you guys. So Raman, we're so grateful for what you do in leading one of our 4 houses. For those that maybe haven't gotten to know you better, one of the things I've asked is that you and I can do a one-on-one interview. So everybody that's listening in the KIKI community, I've asked the 4 house leaders to meet with me this week. I'll meet with each of them one-on-one. We will record a conversation on Zoom. It will not be prepared. There will not be questions given to them in advance. It will be a legitimate, organic conversation. My goal in doing this is to help each of our 4 house leaders tell their story. My desire is that each of the members of these houses that are helping the missionaries, the artists, the chart watchers, and the raiders, right? We have these 4 houses that do all these different things together. I want the communities to feel connected to those that have taken on the responsibility of this decentralized leadership. Therefore, I will be interviewing each of them one-on-one. It'll probably be 15 to 45-minute conversation, depending on how it goes. And I'm just going to find out about your background, who you are, why you got into Web3, how you found out about KIKI, why you chose to take the invitation that Coco Rowe gave you to take on this task. And in doing so, they will be pre-recorded, but they will not be post-produced. So it'll be very raw when we produce them. And then I'll probably drop all 4 of them at the same time. We'll likely live stream them through StreamYard to our KIKI Cat official account. and that will give the four houses a chance to all share each other's story. And I think that'll be wonderful. So, Raman, I mentioned my gratitude for you being here. Please unmute yourself, say hi to everybody, and give us a brief update on what's happening with your house.
Hi to everyone listening. I'm Ramen. I'm the leader of the House of Missionaries. It's a great honor for me to be here in the space with you guys. Thank you for inviting me again. For those who don't know the House of Missionaries yet, we preach the gospel of KIKI outside X on different social media platforms. And just for an update and a good example of what we are doing, I posted something related to Kiki no Kokoro's concern about Saitoshi on Binance Square, and it gained around 40,000 views in less than 48 hours. So basically, we are trying to reach more people outside Twitter or X. And we will be doing a giveaway soon. This is exclusive for members of the House of Missionaries. So as I always say, join the movement and be the blessing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Carl, you lead our House of Creatives, and we love the creative work that you've done over the last several months. If you're available, please unmute yourself and say hi to everybody and give folks a little insight in terms of what you're working on, what you're leading.
Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. I just want to thank everyone here that has joined us today. Thank you for taking your time. The last AMA is an introduction of what is the goal for the House of Creatives. And moving forward to today, I would like to update you guys that I have now found someone who will help lead me, the House of Creatives. So you can go to the chat. His name is Scarlett. He has multiple experience with this space, so I'm really confident that he can help me out, co-create, think of concepts, think of how can I be more creative with how we want to put out Kiki. So it's going to be exciting, and I'm finishing like 30 to 40 artworks right now that I aim to be as high quality as possible that we can use to basically, put out Kiki out there. So I'm really excited for the next upcoming weeks or days because it's going to be really fun, and I can't wait for you guys to see the artworks that I'm making.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait as well. We always love what you and your team are creating. Finally, I want to come to Kelvs. And Kelvs is one of the leaders of the House of Army. PK asked that I bring him on stage so that he can represent the House of Army, our Raiders. So Kelvs, if you're available to unmute yourself, please jump in and say hello to everybody.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, so thanks for having me. I'm Kelvs. I'm here to represent the House of Army and General PK. Unfortunately, General PK can't be with us today due to unforeseen circumstances, but he sends his regards to everyone. So just a quick update on the House of Army. I can confidently say that we're slowly building, and we do have a solid number of active soldiers doing their best to carry out every mission every day. So shout out to everyone, yourselves, and we thank you very much for all of your hard work, for believing in Kiki. We have been constantly adapting and adjusting our strategies as needed, depending on the current situations. And at the moment, we are currently working on or aiming to expand our reach to the SHIB Army, not to cause conflict, but to show that we're here to support and ready to build together. And yeah, at the moment, we're currently recruiting more members, and the Army Council have decided that we will be launching a recruitment incentive scheme that whoever recruits the first 15 new cadets will receive extra rewards for as long as each recruits will stay active and meet the requirements for 1 month.
Thank you so much for being here. And we'll come back to the three house leaders. So I want to mention something. If you scroll down, you'll notice that the main Sheeb account is in the room with us right now. So, you know, the significance of the Shibarium, the significance of Sheeb, bone, treat, leash, the significance of what this community, in addition to the leadership, have done is cannot be understated. I don't think crypto, the overall crypto ecosystem, especially the Ethereum crypto ecosystem, really gives the Sheeb community the credit that they deserve. You know that their layer 2 has surpassed 1 billion transactions recently. There are so many major things that have happened in that community and because of that community. I did ask the friend that runs the primary Sheeb account if he'd be willing to just jump in as a listener for our AMA today. And that's for a couple reasons. One, KIKI is a Sheeb partner. We are on the Sheeb website. We're part of the Y Combinator. We launched our token KIKI because of our relationship with Sheeb. And that doesn't change. We have every intent to be the cat to the dog and to be a Solana extension to that community and to find ways that we can benefit the community. I mean, just look at what we did with Welly Burger. Right off the bat, the very first thing that we did for our F&B, food and beverage licensing deal was with Welly, having the KIKI burgers there in Europe. So having the Sheeb account in the room ensures that we remain in our conversation if it starts to gravitate towards some of the things that were shared recently through Kokoro about Shytoshi, that we remain very thoughtful and respectful that KIKI is a Sheeb partner. We are a Sheeb advocate. We are all in our relationship and partnership with Sheeb, and nothing changes that just because there is some conflict amongst leadership and a misalignment in terms of expectations. But we still should have the freedom to discuss these things. So therefore, Paul has raised his hand. Why don't you jump on and let's have a conversation, Pulse. And I do want to make sure, Todor, Mr. Cool, Shao, that the three of you feel free to unmute yourself, jump in, and participate in this. But Pulse, you have my attention.
So my first question would be, who introduced you or KIKI to Shytoshi?
Great question. So Kokoro and Shy have known each other for a couple of years. They've spent a lot of time together over that time, just as they've bounced around different places. I know that Kokoro was on the phone with Shy when Sheeb hit $30 billion market cap. And that was obviously, as you imagine, quite an emotional moment that they got to share, not face-to-face, but by phone. And Kokoro introduced me to Shy. So Shy and I, we spent some time together in Korea at an event that we were doing together. We had an incredible time. You know, if anybody has spent time with Shy face-to-face, he is passionate, he is likable, he's a powerful visionary, he's easy to follow, he's easy to get excited around. He is everything that, you know, a wild, manic entrepreneur is. He's just an unbelievable visionary that throws down the gauntlet and says, this is where we're going, follow me. So that was the introduction for Kokoro. And I don't know all the details, but I know that they have have had a meaningful relationship. And then Kokoro introduced me and many other people on the KIKI team. And the reason why we launched a KIKI meme coin, because see, we're building a multi-billion-dollar KIKI IP universe with or without a meme coin. The video games, the comic books, the film, the licensing deals, the merch things, the digital assets, we're doing all that with or without a meme coin. The meme coin is so that this community can participate in it. The reason we launched a meme coin was because Shy asked us to. And he put a pretty strong case before us why it would be great to do this in partnership with Sheeb. So that's a little bit of the background, but I imagine you may have some other questions, Paul. So please go ahead.
So my familiarity with Kiki extends through all the Mario shows. If you remember, I did the first interview with you guys when you had Shaitoshi on. But what you're telling me now is you didn't intend to launch a token until the idea was introduced by Shaitoshi. Is that correct?
That is my understanding. Now, again, in some regard, I'm speaking on behalf of Kokoro, right? Because Kokoro and Shai had the conversations. Kokoro has posted receipts of those conversations. A lot of Shai's and Kokoro's mutual friends are surprised at Kokoro's willingness to be open about this conflict. But, you know, there's certain people that are very gravitated toward justice. Kokoro is very gravitated toward being a man of justice. And so he's demanding justice. But when I was introduced to Shai, it was already a decision. The decision had been made. Kiki was going to launch a meme coin. Kokoro's the founder. Shai, we anticipated was going to be the voice, the face, the one that says, hey, this is the Sheeb extension into the Solana ecosystem. When Shai did not do that, when he wasn't ready for it, that's when Todor and I stepped up and undoxed ourselves, and I became the CEO, and Todor became the chief creative officer. Now, granted, I was already going to be a voice, but I was going to be a voice called Kiki Alpha. I had this whole voice changer. It was really silly. I sounded like a little girl. And I was going to like jump on spaces and like try to help tell the Kiki story, but I was never going to be undoxed. Todor, he was going to lead the 60 creatives in Europe, but he was never going to be known. And so, but when Shai did not step up and we didn't have that like major backing that we thought was required for us to not only scale to 10 million the first day, 100 million the first week, but to 250 million and a billion and beyond and sustain that, we thought, well, somebody has to be the face of this. So I undoxed myself. We made me the CEO. Todor did. Then we recruited James as our CMO. So yes, our decision was made based on the conversation with Shai. And yes, we anticipated Shai introducing us to the Shibarium, and we anticipated a very significant partnership from those conversations. So Paul, go ahead.
So what did it feel like for you and the rest of the team when that support did not manifest? Because I know from the first spaces we had, Shai was there. He was speaking about Kiki, and then it seemed to have disappeared, is what you're saying. What did that feel like for you and Todor to have to make those decisions to dox and to pivot?
Well, I don't know if we're feeling. Yeah.
Go ahead,
Todor. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that it felt like shit. I mean, like to me, especially, it's like having somebody, commit to building something with you, and all of a sudden, one day he just stops answering your questions. He hides away from the responsibilities that he's taken. He hides away from the promises that he's made. And here we are in a situation where the train has already left the station. We're already moving in the direction in which we think this thing is moving, but we believe that we have one of the most powerful people in the meme space, somebody that was responsible for creating one of the biggest fucking meme tokens out there is behind our backs. That felt as though we have we're setting sail. The ship is ready, the sails are ready to go, and all of a sudden the wind we were promised is not there. It's just suddenly not there. So we gotta take the sails up and get the oars out, and we gotta start scooping and moving that whole big ship that we built with the intention that it was going to be moved by wind. We have to start scooping with our oars and moving it in the direction in which we want it to go. So how did it feel? Well, it didn't feel great. I can only say that. So, Ian, I'm a little bit, like my filter doesn't work very well. So I see you laughing on the camera.
No, I mean,
there.
hey, I love who you are, and I understand how you feel, and I understand how Kokoro feels, and I understand that Kokoro recruited 24 people across 12 different countries, and all of us, including Todor and I, we all made the decision to go into Kiki the way that we have because of the commitment that we felt was made. And so obviously Todor's response, if it feels like shit, makes total sense. Kokoro's response of like, I've tried to have these conversations for months. I never hear back. I've tried to bring other people in to have these conversations. There's nothing. So what left am I to do but to say this is unjust and go to the world and say, sheep community, we're your partner and we are created KIKI in partnership with you. You may not know about us yet, but that's because we thought there was a path. Now let me respond how I feel. To be honest, I feel quite a bit of empathy toward Shy. Even if Shy is a scammer, even if Shy has a bad reputation amongst a minority or a majority of people in the sheep community right now because of recent decisions he's made, I still do feel a certain sense of empathy toward him. I understand how challenging it is to be a extreme entrepreneur. I've started 10 companies. I understand how easy it is to set expectations for people and then not follow through, even if at one point you had the intent to do so. I understand how easy it is to be bothered by something as a visionary and then not know how to deal with your disappointment and then just disappear or just fade away. None of that makes it okay. None of it justifies the things that Kokoro has posted about the misalignment and the missed expectations and the injustice of what's happened. But even though that's the case, I still do have a certain level of empathy for what this human being that we all know as Shaitoshi may be going through. And not just because of our experience, but because of what I've seen him say and post and do over the course of the last few months. And so I'm a human. I take on big challenges. I'm on day 31 of a water only fast. I've literally had 0 calories in my body for 31 days as I'm almost to my day 40, which is a lifetime goal for me to do a 40-day water fast. So I lean into challenge. I lean into this. There's no wind. Who gives a damn? Grab the oars and start rowing. So I don't mind the challenge. I don't mind the adversity. I don't mind the hurdles. Whatever comes our way, we are going to still achieve our goal regardless. I understand how Todor feels. It feels super shitty. Obviously, it feels like we were abandoned and we were things were not followed through. I understand how Kokoro feels. There's a real relationship that feels like it's a real violation. But for me, even though all that is true for me, I still am thoughtful and I hope the best for Shy. I hope the best for Shy for the sake of the sheep community. I hope that Shy starts to consider some of the feedback he's received from us and others. And I hope that he takes some time to really think through who he is, who he wants to be, what he wants to do, and that he makes some different decisions moving forward. I would love for Shy to come back and to say, hey, you know what? I did set expectations. I did make commitments. We did have an agreement and I didn't follow through. That's on me. Let me make it right. Let me make sure that the sheep community understands that this was all launched with KIKI with the intent of what could be for a partnership. So I hope that my response makes sense. I know not everybody has as much of a grace-oriented mindset as I do, but that's okay. That's just how I personally tick. Paul, if you want to ask another question, go ahead. Otherwise, I want to ask Xiao and Mr. Cool if they might want to jump in. You guys have been a part of so many communities, so many Web3 communities. There have been so many brutal, unjust things that have happened across Jirasan and PG Group, across Pudgy, across Mycelium, and all the different things that you guys have been involved with that you currently are or that you were. So what's your take? I'd love either of you to jump in and just share what your take is on the things that we've talked about up to this point.
I guess I'll go ahead. Shao is bowing the knee to me to let Mr. Cool go. I respect. Thank you. I bow to you. Yeah, actually, that's like a really great question for right now because currently Jirasan is going through a lot of like hardships. Shan has been building this project based on like with the redacted coin that's coming, and a lot of people just started to leak DMs and things like that, talking about, oh, there's delays, this, that, and the other. We want refunds, and all of this FUD was coming. And you want to know what the one thing that killed the FUD? It wasn't Shan. It wasn't Jira-san's art. It wasn't anything that the partnership, like, it wasn't any of that stuff. It was the community. The community literally rose up without any instruction from the team, rose up and started doing tweets about, here, oh, you guys are linking DMs? How about I link a DM of my founder actually caring about me? And that's a big deal because when you foster this community, the reason that you get through bear markets, when you get through FUD, when you get through all the BS that comes within Web3, the thing that gets you through that isn't your treasury. It's not necessarily your team. It's literally your community. And community is the engine. It's literally the driving factor behind the projects. And I just think it's so cool because in Web 2, you don't really feel this connection to the project or to the merchandise or the things that you spend your hard money on. In Web 3, you're empowered. You can speak to the team. You can also be a part of it. You can collaborate. You can find partnerships and you can grow that reach. And that is really the beautiful thing in Web3. So like, it's crazy you say that because a couple of the projects, but even beyond Jirasan, I was in a project called Kabu that I helped do community work with, and they got their Discord hacked and their Twitter hacked, and it was erased. I've never seen that happen. It totally decimated us. And guess what? When we opened the new Discord, the community filed in and it was like almost it was uplifted. Like we wrote some lore and talking about, oh, there's this like crazy shadow person came to Sunset City, and like we created this like narrative that didn't really empower the hacker. It empowered the community and saying we're going to rise up together. And what did we do? We rose up together and we really just like kind of took it by the reins, and the community is what saved us, not the team, not anything else. So when you talk about community with Kiki and empowering these leaders, you're like setting for the future, and that is just like such a cool thing. So I could have talked for a long time because I do a lot of community stuff, but I'll let my boy Shao get in here.
I think you hit the nail on the head. When you look at Web3 and the impact of community, it really does drive that decentralized effort, that decentralized soul. I've had similar things. We have What the Frag, and due to market conditions and due to liquidity, like things have definitely not gone as well as we had hoped, as well as people cheating out of it. And so, I think the other things to work about, or work on when you're in any project is really focus on discipline, constant communication, and being present. Now, obviously, sometimes it's harder to do that as founders because you feel like the more they talk, it's just poking the bear and people feel incessant. And so leading into community has definitely been the best solution because it really does showcase. The other thing I actually recommend too, which is kind of impactful, and I think you see that with Project Jirasan too, is, one-on-ones, right? If you have real conversations with people and you get out of the keyboard warrior and you actually get on a call, whether that's video or just audio, and you just hash it out, a lot of the stuff can be cleared. And so much of this can be just micromanaged in a way that actually makes sense, because what you're doing instead is you're removing the barriers, you're removing the digital aspect of it, and you're creating real relationships. I'm actually been doing that a lot in the Web3 gaming space because, Web3 gaming has been taking a lot of hits in terms of optics, in terms of, is this really adding value? Is this really a Ponzonomics? Like, how does this impact people in a way? Because, the crazy part is a lot of times is people are going through financial hardship. And because of the financial incentives, people react accordingly. They get very personal, they get very emotional. And if you show that you are also human, and shout out to Ian, because empathy definitely goes a long way. If you hold space for people and you just let them say their piece, then you can tell them, hey, this is what's going on, this is what's available. If you're going through something, maybe offer a solution, that might help them through these things. But I think having that level of connectivity to your community goes a long way. And I saw a lot of the posts from the community from Jerasan, and talking about, how he uplifted them, brought them together in Bali, and changed their lives by being, available to them, because obviously Sean's a very successful person outside of Web3, and he has a lot of different connections. And I feel the same thing too, right? Like when you talk about just the fact that we are having this conversation transparently, Ian and Todor, the fact that we're having this conversation with Pulse, like, come on, this is a pretty amazing. You get to like take the curtain back, and you just get to see what's going on and have real conversation. And I think that's the real impact of what we're doing today, is being transparent, and more importantly, having open conversations. So, kudos to everyone here. And I love to hear both sides of these things. I kind of actually surprised that this is the conversation we're going to be having today, but at the same time, this is no better place by individuals who understand and lead their communities. So I'm definitely here for it.
Go ahead.
I
Mr.
have
Cole.
my hand up. Yeah, it's really quickly though. I was gonna say, because talking about the stuff, like I would be literally like, this is not to say that I'm not talented, not belittling myself. I would not be where I am today without Chan. So like this guy really did reach out and like really made it a point. You can see his face, you can hear his voice, you can talk to him one-on-one, exactly like you were saying, Shao, like what we're doing right here. You can see Todor, you can see Ian, you can speak to them, you can get a hold of them. And I think that that's like something that's not a privilege that's afforded to most projects. This really isn't, because some projects you've never seen the project founder's face. Some projects you don't even get a chat with them. They don't even go in the Discord. They may tweet their stuff just to get their engagement and everything, but they don't come to earth and to be on the same level as you. Because realistically, when I feel like a project that founder thinks that they're above me, I don't really want to be a part of it that much. That's not what I want. I want to know, and I want to have this emotional connection where I feel like he's one of us, so that I know that I'm in good hands. And that's really important. I think that that's like something that KIKI has been continually fostering in to their project, to the community, and then into Web3 as a whole, by setting the example of like saying, hey, this is actually how it's done. And so more projects and founders and teams need to start like taking it by the reins and doing it properly. And yeah, I just wanted to come back on that a little bit, that Shao said that. So I appreciate you letting me talk again.
Absolutely. Go ahead, boss.
So I have so much more than I'm going to take your time to get into today. So I just wanted to wrap up my part by saying thank you guys for having open and honest conversations, despite how difficult they may be. I understand the position you're in. My role at K9 Finance puts me in the same place, because I host our X Spaces and I get to be the guy that has hard conversations. So I hope you guys keep doing it. I want to say that I appreciate the SHIB account for being here today. We're good friends as well, and their support means the world to me and what I do. And I'm glad to see them here, and so many familiar faces from the SHIB army as I scroll through the listeners right now. You guys might not be familiar with them yet, but the closer you get to SHIB and Shibarium, the more you're going to recognize some of the people. So I'm not going to shout anybody out, but if you're here listening to me and you remember me from the other places and spaces, I appreciate you. And Ian, particularly what you're doing here, thank you for having me on, and let's get connected at some other time, okay?
Wonderful. Thank you for being here, Pulse. We really appreciate you. So I want to take a moment to talk about some news. I usually wanted to start with news. We got right into the rhythm. So let me just touch base on news, and let me bring a relevant story. First piece of news. China signaled an openness for U.S. tariff talks if Trump ensures respect. So that's what's in the news. What I saw a few days ago was Trump in his office. Trump, whether you love him, hate him, or indifferent, one thing that's very clear is he is leading the United States in public. He's letting the media into his cabinet room. He's letting the media into his Oval Office. It's clear that his press secretary is talking to him on a daily, if not moment by moment basis. Like there's an unusual amount of access to him. And so here he is in the Oval Office. He's maybe signing some executive report. And the thing with China comes up, 125% tariff, 145% tariff. Where does it go from here? And the way Trump is making moves is extremely aggressive and combative, and maybe would be seen as disrespectful, or China has said things like it's silly or not serious. But when he uses his mouth in that moment, what he says is, President of China is brilliant. Xi is one of the smartest men alive. Xi knows what to do. He knows what it's going to be required. And so I do find it interesting that as we talk about misalignment and conflict amongst two leaders, we look at outside of ourselves and we look at two of the most significant leaders in human history alive today. And maybe these two leaders will be looked at as very significant for the 21st century. Xi of China and Trump of the United States. And here they are trying to have this battle, trying to measure what they do or don't say. And so I do think it's an interesting case study to look at, how you have to walk a fine line to try to get to an outcome that you are going toward. A couple other things on news. Spot gold just reached a record high of $3,300 per ounce USD. So many of your grandparents, aunties, and uncles are very happy right now because they're all about that gold and silver business. Another thing is, Binance just burned almost $1 billion of BNB tokens. That's a major, major move, as you might understand. And I didn't know this until I just saw the headline, but OpenAI has been developing or has developed an X-like social network. So you look at Musk buys Twitter, rebrands it to X, creates X.AI, has X.AI buy X, which is, one of the, it'll go down as one of the ultimate financial moves that's ever happened. And so out of X came XAI. It appears that now OpenAI out of ChatGPT might come some sort of X competitor. We'll see what comes of that. Finally, since I started with Trump and China, I'll end the news update with Trump's family is said to be releasing a blockchain-based game that is similar to Monopoly. I'm not sure if Trump's family spent any time in Telegram, but the reality is Hamster Combat and all of Hamster Combat's competitors were basically blockchain-based games that are similar to Monopoly. It was basically an approach to teach people finance, to teach people how to build Web3 businesses, to make it fun and engaging, and to also allow people to, be able to earn some tokens along the way. So hopefully whoever's working with Trump's team on this specific effort of a blockchain-based game similar to Monopoly, that they've had the humility to go and explore outside of America and go see some of the phenomenal things that have happened in other continents like Asia with some of these games like Hamster Combat. Todor, your hands raised. You have our attention.
Well, while we're on the Trump topic, guess who I'm meeting on the 27th of April, guys? Drum roll! Come on, we gotta have these fucking things going here. None other than Donald Trump Jr. is fucking coming to Sofia, and I'm meeting him here in Sofia, Bulgaria. How about that? So
we're happy about that. You went out and saw the Trump family and all the party people at the crypto event the week before the inauguration. So this is kind of a follow-up to that.
Hey. Me and Donald Trump Jr. are getting a little bit, too close. We're like peas and carrots, man. I'm telling you, something's cooking here. I'm gonna go and singing his ear. I'm gonna tell him, hey man, look at this. You and your poppy, you did this meme coin thing, but you guys didn't do it right. Here's the fucking playbook that I've been working on how we make this thing actually become big. So all jokes aside, it is crazy. Bulgaria is just a very small country in Europe. Not many American presidents have been to Bulgaria. I can only think of I think it was Bill Clinton that came over, and perhaps George Bush Jr. that was here at some point while he was still president. So having somebody like Donald Trump Jr. is a big deal for us. And I'm going to be at the event. I'm going to cover the story, and hopefully, I'll get to rub shoulders with him and talk about crypto and making crypto great again and making Kiki great again. Like getting it in the White House and getting things off the ground. So I'll actually be having a word with him. From what I've been told, there's a conversation to be had. I don't want to spoil anything just yet. I'm not even allowed to say many things, but I can say that I'll be meeting him. I'm getting my suit pressed and everything. So stay tuned for this one.
Well, obviously, we're all happy about that here at Kiki. Okay, friends, we got 3 of our house leaders on stage. We got Xiao and Mr. Cool. Any of you are welcome to unmute yourself. Pulse has jumped off stage. I'm glad that he came. It'd be nice for our house leaders, Xiao or Mr. Cool, to ask any questions, whether it's regarding the conversation we've had or anything else on our topic, growing together, partnerships, and community. Is there anything on your guys' mind that you'd like me, Todor, to answer, or maybe one of the house leaders jumps in and answers a question? I have a partner. He's my CTO. And I ask him questions, and he literally, like consistently, we've been working here for 17 years. He just sits there silently for like 35 seconds. I don't know why he does it. I mean, it's like it's a habit at this point. So I just know I ask a question, and I got to wait about 35 seconds before he'll say anything. So since we're on an X space and there's lots of people listening, let's ask questions quicker. So
I got a question.
Go
While they're thinking of their question, I got a question. What the fuck is happening with the count of people in this goddamn room? What is this?
My assumption is it's because the Sheeb account is in here as a listener. That would be
that many. Jesus Christ! I mean, that's a lot of people. I don't know where he came from or what.
Sheeb has 4 million followers, so that would be my assumption. But we're happy to have all of you here listening, and grateful to have your attention. If you raise your hand, I don't know who you are. I'm unlikely to bring you on stage. So unless you maybe send me a DM, or even better, just post a comment in the comment section and say, I'd like to come on stage for this reason, then it's a lot easier to bring you on. Okay. Let's see. Who wants to jump in and share? Anybody, unmute yourself and let's chat.
So this is Xiao. So, all the things that you guys got going on, obviously you shared a lot of transparency. Has this week been, good for you in terms of like some stability in the market? And then like, given that's the case, how are you guys kind of, what's the latest activations that you have going on for our community here over at Kiki?
Yeah, that's a great question. Toto, you want to take a stab at that first, just where we're at and where we're going, and then I'll add to whatever it is that you share.
I think that's a better one for you, man, because what I've been doing is I've got myself in the trenches, and I've been working on 2 very, very solid things that I want to bring out before I speak about them, because we've been doing a little bit too much speaking and not that much providing. But I've been working on a couple of things that I'll be sharing very soon. So that's why I haven't actually, while the community's here, I haven't been very active on X the last few days, but I'll get back at it after Easter. I don't know. Is it, that this year it seems that Easter is together for Catholics and Orthodox? That's never happened to us. We always have it like at a different time than the Catholics, because I'm East Orthodox, and this time it's this weekend, right? The weekend
finally, after thousands of years, unity is coming.
Yeah, there you go.
So let me answer your question, and maybe this will spark a question for Carl or Raman or the leader of the army. So, here's what we've come to understand. We had some dependency on Shy to help us make wise decisions early on, and we shouldn't have leaned so heavily on that relationship. Because what ended up happening is we scaled to 10 million the first day, 100 million the first week, and then we fluctuated between 20 and 80 million for a month or so. And then our present chart, we feel, is wildly undervalued and has not done well. And there's been a couple times where, like, okay, here's an opportunity. It's going to be a big investment, but we had raised a lot of money before we launched the organization. We raised millions of dollars. I mean, just buying the KIKI IP was $1 million. So, okay, we have money in the treasury. Let's do this thing. And the thing works, right? We do this big marketing push, and then we double, triple, quadruple price, and all of a sudden we scale. But what don't we do? We don't sustain. And so then the people that are just looking to flip and make a profit, they're like, oh, perfect. Here's my 2x, 3x, 4x, 8x exit. I'm out. And okay, so then we scaled, we double, triple, quadrupled, but then we don't sustain. So then it comes back down. And, a lot of times, Todor and I are like, we're scratching our heads like, what the hell's going on, man? Like, we're trending #1 on X in 5 countries. We're the big shit on this news thing. Like, our price just skyrocketed. Like, why isn't this working? So one of the things that we recognize is something I talked with Andy about on his open mic last night. And what it is new holders. So we've had about 20,000 holders, which we're super, super grateful for, across our centralized and decentralized exchanges from, the first month. What we've struggled with is new holders. And I think for us, we recognize that the marketing channels that any other meme project will use, that's likely not bringing holders that are going to be staying with us. They're just bringing like this kind of revolving door. So one of the big things that we are personally focused on from a business perspective right now, two things. One is cash flow. We are creating cash flows through licensing deals, through merch deals, through our video games, through film and comics and different opportunities. So we're very focused on cash flow. So that way we as a team can say we're a profitable business. We're a functional business. The meme coin is so that you, community, can participate with us in this. And so that if we go into a real bear market, which this is not, this is a bull market that's wearing a bear-like costume. If we go into a real bull market, that we're okay. We can keep going. So that's one thing, cash flow. Number 2 is new holders. And so this is why we have sparked the conversation with the Shibarium again. We recognize the Shibarium has somewhere between 1.5 and 4 million holders. I don't really know which number is true. It doesn't really matter. It's a lot of people. And we believe that we are a formal partner of Sheeb, but at least an informal partner. I mean, we're all part of the Y Combinator. We're on the website. Shai did jump on in January on Mario Falls and momentarily back us, in a sense. And clearly we have the relationships. Kokoro has been part of their council for years and one of the largest holders of their tokens. So one of the big things that we're doing right now is we're focused on how do we build a bridge between KIKI and the Shibarium? How do we invite sheep holders to consider KIKI as a Solana expansion, as the friendly cat that loves the dog, as an organization that really we have our shit together, we're undoxed, we're building multiple cash flow mediums, we have a phenomenal community, and we see Sheeb as a potential wonderful catalyst so that if we put forth the money to do the marketing and double and 10x and 50x, that it's not just for a moment. We don't want to scale back to 100 million market cap where we've already been, or scale to $250 million market cap or $1 billion market cap just for a moment in time. We want to scale in a way that we can sustain it. And so that's what we're trying to build, a solid business with solid tokenomics that would allow us to do so in a way that gives us the highest potential of that very thing. So we are almost at time, and I recognize that. So I'm going to ask one more time for our guests, for Mr. Cool, Xiao, Ramen, and Carl, and Kelvs. Would any of you like to unmute yourself, say any final words to the community? Would you like to ask a question? Yeah, Xiao, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to, tell people, right? Like we're building. If you are a community member, you want to mess around, go to the posted tweet, come to Mycelium, go click on Kiki, go remix, make your memes, pump your bags, do the things that make sense. Because in the end, what we want to do is empower people to utilize the tool and, get the message out, the word out. And as a partner for us, we want to do our best that we can to help, the Kiki Armada, the Kiki community, to really push it out to your guys' socials. Because for us, we want to give you guys the ability to remix and do and add things that make sense, right? If you want to talk about tariffs, if you want to talk about sheep, if you want to talk about these other things, you can include all of that into your remix and just put that one as an NFT, and two, just proliferate the timeline with your message, your voice. Lean into what Web3 really is, which is enabling community to become the power of the brand and everything else. So, for me, it's really amazing. Quick shout out to the team. Just so you guys know, right? We have a lot of alignment in how we do our ethos. You guys are in Wellies, you guys are in Bored and Hungry. We actually just did a partnership in Indonesia with the largest FMCG brand, which is CPG for those in the US. And basically it's Ultra Milk, and Ultra Milk is a huge brand here in Indonesia, and we have a partnership and activation going on. So we're super excited, and why this matters is because being in Web3, sometimes we feel like there's only so limited people in this space. But if you cast a wider net, if you work with bigger brands, this is a huge win for us. This is a huge win for Story Protocol, because when you're able to connect with people, have activations, and get people more involved and show them the power of Web3, show them the power of being a super fan and a super community of enthusiastic holders, right? Hopefully we have the same impactful impact that you guys have with us and Kiki, and we want to do the same thing with Ultra Milk. So just want to let people know too that we're doing this thing. We're taking IP to the next level by cross collabing and working together with some of these other Web2 brands that so many people are familiar with. Obviously, this is localized in Indonesia, but I still think those things have impact, right? The same way Bored and Hungry is only in South Korea as well as Philippines, but they're taking over too. So we're seeing these things. You guys are so closely tied to it, and you guys get it. So that, for me, I just like to share those things as partnerships and part of the same universe. Like, we love these wins, and we're happy to share them across the board.
Yes. Well, we love Mycelium, and we're all about our partnership with you. And we do encourage everyone on this call, on this space, to go check out the link that's been posted. Carl, is that a raised hand? If it is, please unmute yourself. Love to hear from you.
Oh, yes. So as we close this call, I just want to say to everyone that participation matters. One of the highlights that I've said for my last AMA is basically I'm used to be one of the community members, and fast forward to now, I am here helping build Kiki. So I just want to highlight the word participation, because one of the key things, or one of the most important things in Web3, is how you participate, not only as a member of the community, but you yourself. Like going back to 2021, when you want to get whitelisted for that NFT that you want, you participate, you communicate with others to get that whitelist. So I want to tell people right now who are generally new to this space is to believe into something, participate, and work. Because at the end of the day, it's not just the team working, it's also the community. So I highly, highly encourage you guys to make something, create something, share ideas, go out and be loud, because Kiki really, really needs not only the team's voice, but the community as a whole. So I hope that this final message has become a word of encouragement, and I'll hopefully get to share more as we go on to the next.
Excellent. There's something else I want to say to everybody. I've come to recognize something that we've had some fraud and scams within our community. We just had a really bad one where somebody offered to run a contest for us, and they ran this contest, and it turns out what they did was they created 2 fake accounts. They did manipulation of the contest that they were running on our behalf that we said they could do for us. They made themselves the first and second place winner. They hid everything from us. The community brought it to us, so we confronted the person. The person said, "Oh, well, I don't have the money anymore, and you can't do anything about it." And so then we basically still chose to give the first and second place prize to the rightful winners. And then that person that did the fraud, they started creating accounts and started jumping on our things like right now and posting FUD. And this is something that I remember in the NFT space. People do things that lack integrity. They get called out on it, and then instead of taking a step back and being like, "Oh shit, I just got nailed for being a liar, for being a thief, for being greedy. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to double down and try to hurt the project." So something I want to tell all of you: when you look at comments like this X space right now, and you see people posting this silliness, Kiki this, Kiki that, bad, 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 boo, boo, boo. Click on the person's link. Is that a real person? Is that person have any influence? Is that person have any reason why they said what they said? Or are they just one more scam account that's trying to get a point across from somebody that has bad intent? So I do want to say that. And then finally, I want to acknowledge and thank Sheep for being in the room. I don't know if that's the reason why we had so many people jump in today, but it wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. And I just want to acknowledge Sheep. I want to acknowledge the Shibarium, the Sheep community. We are your partner. We have been since we launched. We'll remain your partner. We would love to find more ways that we can benefit one another and find win-win situations. But we have as much honor as possible for the Sheep community, and that is the truth, which is why I say it. Mr. Cool, Shao, thank you for being here once again. Ramen, Carl, and everyone else from the 4 houses, thank you so much for being here. If you did enjoy this space, I would appreciate it if you would leave a comment. If there's something that you didn't get a chance to hear us answer, ask a question here. We'll look at it. We'll do our best to answer it. If you enjoyed it, tell us what you enjoyed. Was it something that Pulse asked? Was it something that Mr. Cool or Shao said? Was it something that Ramen or Carl had shared when they did an update? What is it that you enjoyed? Let us know in the comments so we can be mindful of that next week as we meet every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And finally, share this, right? You were part of a room that had a big audience. You were part of a room that had a very passionate and intense conversation about very difficult topics to discuss, right? About public leadership conflict, something that's very, very challenging to navigate. And that was what our conversation was. And so whether somebody's part of the KIKI community, the Sheep community, Mycelium community, or any of these communities, they will likely benefit from the things that we just walked through. And so don't hesitate to just do a quick retweet. If you quote retweet it, then that's always nice because then we know the context for why you shared this. But if you just share it, we would be grateful. We want to expand our reach. We want to grow together. We want to focus on partnerships and community. To our producer, we love you. We're so grateful for you. Thank you for all that you do. You make us sound good. You make us look good. You put us all in different spaces and places. And we are grateful for you. And we declare that. To everyone here, we went over time. Thank you for your patience. We appreciate you. We'll be back next week. We are available to answer any questions. We just prefer it to do it during the AMA so everyone can benefit from the question. We have nothing to hide. We will always come to your questions with integrity, authenticity, and transparency. That's what you can expect from us. And that is what we will continue to do. Until next time, everyone, peace.
Until next time, rock and roll, guys.